This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions.
Hi, this is Joe Rabil. We're going to take a hard look at Bitcoin. As my subscribers know, I really have not been fond of this pattern. I think, I've been basically saying that there's risk in it. But I want to show you a specific setup that is right out of my book, the 2 time frame pinch play, where we're taking MACD and we're basically teaching you how to trade. All right, we're showing you where quality entries are by using the strategies from this one setup. All right, so let's go ahead and get going with this. Now, if you want to learn more about this specific trade, actually, there's a chapter on it in my book. You can click the link in the description to find out more. Also, if you do enjoy this content, please hit that like button and also subscribe. Okay, so I've got my 4-chart grid up. I do want to keep the monthly chart up, and I also just want to start out by showing this is not a part of the setup, but it does give me a little bit more confidence. One thing that I wanted to mention here is that if you look at the move to the upside in Bitcoin, we had an RSI buy signal. I'm not going to go into details of this. You can go find some RSI videos on my channel. There's plenty of them. There were 3 really solid pullback type trades using the RSI setup. And then if you notice, we got our first RSI sell signal here recently. Notice the shift in the relative strength versus the S&P. I mean, this is a pretty big reversal to the downside that was taking place. Okay. There are other things here that, again, my subscribers will recognize as being an issue, but I wanted to just cover this, basically following what we're seeing in the RSI and the relative strength. I think those are keys and kind of important to recognize what was taking place as a backdrop in the Bitcoin. All right, now let's just look at this 2 time frame setup, and we're going to start with the higher time frame like we always do. Now, one of the things I do want to mention before I even get into this setup is we do want to recognize on the upper time frame that here's the 18 MA. Now, I put an 18 MA and a 40 MA on all these charts. All right, and the 18 MA on the monthly chart, you can see we were breaking this on this move to the downside, caused a break of the 18-month line, the upper time frame. It's not using it as support like we were prior to that. This was using it as support. This pullback was using the 18 as support. Now all of a sudden we're getting bad weakness because we're breaking this 18-month line. All right, so we've got that in place, and again, that's another backdrop that we want to have in place if we're going to use this setup. Now, the setup itself, here's the higher time frame. What we look for is where the the price makes a move to the downside, and we get a sort of a thrust to the downside. All right. Now, I like this pattern the most where it's the first cross, where the MACD is crossing the 0 line for the first time. All right. So we've been above. Look at how long this was above the 0 line, stayed above on pullbacks, and now we're clearly both the MACD and its signal line are crossing to the downside on this pattern. Okay, so we have that. Now, what we want as a secondary part of the signal is a rally back up towards the 18 MA. And as a part of that, we want to see higher lows in place. I say a minimum of 2, but it's really nice to see like this is as 3 or 4 higher lows as it rallies up. And you can see the tails also that have formed on these candlesticks. So we know that there's some resistance up there, but we're working our way closer to the 18 and we're making higher lows. Now, what's happening as this is rallying up is it's causing the MACD itself to pinch in towards the signal line. Okay. Now we can really see it if we want to. We can take a hard look at the histogram, and we can see it's sort of working its way back towards 0, but it doesn't cross. All right. It just pinches in. It causes this little pinch, and we don't cross the signal line. All right. So we have that in place. All right, now that is the upper time frame, and again, it's essentially telling us that we've got a move to the downside that showed some strength. And the reason why it's showing strength is because if you rally up that much, this has rallied up for 5 or 6 days, and the MACD could not cross above, did not get anywhere near crossing back above the signal line. That means it had a really strong thrust to the downside. It created separation between the MACD and the signal line, and that a rally of that magnitude still doesn't cause it to cross above the signal line. That's showing there's a lot of strength to the downside. Okay, so we have that in place. Now, when the MACD, when the price crosses below the higher low, the last higher low, and then we have an operative signal in relation to this pinch play. All right. However, I don't take that. In most cases, I won't take that on by itself as a single time frame. What I'll do is I'll go down to a smaller time frame. In this case, the smaller time frame is the daily chart. Okay, and I'm going to analyze what's taking place. So we notice that we had this rally moving up, and as we were making higher highs and higher lows, in fact. And what we want to do when that's taking place is draw a trend line. The first trend line we would have drawn was here, as price made a higher low and then made a higher high. And when we had that in place, another trend line formed because we made a higher low here, right? And a higher high. So once we do that, we can adjust the trend line, and we've got our trend line here. Now, if you notice what that caused, it caused this to move up enough, and then this big red bar broke the signal line. Broke this trend line. Okay. Now, breaking that trend line in some cases could be important, but the problem is we had significant amount of overrun of the zero line in MACD, and we also showed a lot of strength in the buyers. Green DI caused this ADX to get above the 25 line, okay? So when that happens, I'm going to wait and be a little bit more patient. I'm not going to take this red bar decline of the 18 because I'm looking for red DI to actually show signs of improvement here. I want to get signs that the sellers are showing back up because we had pretty good strength in the buyers, and we had pretty good overrun here. So typically I'm waiting for the next signal. Now, we had this little rally here that did cause some higher lows, and I guess would qualify as a pinch, but what I'd be looking for is this signal here. Look at this higher low, and then we make a higher low right near the 18, and it's a doji bar right there, okay? And we clearly have a pinch developing into the signal line right underneath the zero line, all right? That's where everything's kind of coming together. So we're getting 2 time frames where we get a signal right below the zero line, okay? We've got confirming DI starting to kick back in, or red DI is crossing back above, right? We get our higher lows, we get a doji bar right underneath the declining 18, okay, after a break of the trend line. So these are all really kind of high quality things that we're looking for in this setup that are helping. But the reality is the reason why I think this really helps you become a better trader is that it's showing you how to trade in multiple time frames and get confluence amongst 2 different time frames. So I've got pinch play here, and if I squish this together here, you can see we've got pinch play here and a pinch play here. Now this triggers first, the higher time frame will trigger first, and then we look for a subsequent signal on the lower time frame right after that, okay? And this happened right after. It was within a week. It's opened the next bar and rallied up and then came back down. And this triggered taking out the low of the doji bar, which is a really good signal. And then what we're looking for in this pattern typically is a 2 to 4 bar move, all right? If we get 2 big bars like this, that's basically what you're expecting from the move. Now, I will say this. If we've got strong ADX in place on the higher time frame and we're getting confirming evidence on the lower time frame, then it can turn into a much bigger signal. You can play it for, take partial profits, like I showed in a prior video where you're taking partial profits, you're changing your stop, lowering your stop to break even, and then looking to take further targets as it continues to climb to the downside. Now, I will say this, when it comes to shorting stocks, typically, I know this is isn't a stock, but when I look to do shorting, I typically am a little bit more aggressive. I will take a third or a half on that first target, and then maybe take the balance on the next move to the downside. I'm not typically looking for a massive trending move when I play to the short side, okay? But if we have the potential with the momentum in place, right, and we get two early signals at the zero line, just below the zero line on both of these, you might want to play it for more than just a single leg. So just something to think about. But these are all the types of things that we want to keep an eye on. And it just so happened that this played out in Bitcoin recently. So, to me, this is a quality signal. It's teaching you how to play two consecutive time frames where we're failing at the 18. Failing at the 18 on the weekly, failing at the 18 on the daily. That is why I think this signal is so good and helping you become a good trader. It's going to help you get good entry, all right? So take a hard look at this. Let me know if you have any questions. We'll see you next time.